Okay, so tell me if this is you. You feel out of control with food, then you get home and you eat half the box of Oreos and it's sitting, and then you say, what is wrong with me? I need more control. I need more discipline. I need more willpower. Tomorrow I'm going to get back on track. I'm going to count my calories. I'm going to have a salad, only to repeat the cycle over and over and over again. Let me tell you what you're doing wrong. So I'm Danny. I'm an eating disorder therapist and a body image and binge eating coach. And I've had more than 12 years of experience working with the eating disorder population. And I'm here to give you as much information as I can in my Breaking the Binge cycle about how you can stop binge eating for good and finally feel in control around food. This is episode 2 of my series. So if you haven't seen the first one, go ahead and watch it and then come back and watch this one. I'll put the link down below. So if you relate to anything that I've said in this video, I do want you to know that you are not alone. You are not the exception here. I specialize in working with people who struggle with binge eating, and I hear this time and time again. So I want you to start to shift your mentality from what is wrong with me to what is the function that food plays in my life so I can actually fix it. So what we're going to talk about in this video is what's fueling your binge eating and what can help reduce it or stop it. So let's get started. Okay, so here we're going to talk about the difference between what fuels your binge eating and then what halts it. So what helps you reduce it or stop it. We're going to go through each one. So let's get to it. The number one thing that can fuel your binge eating is not eating enough throughout the day. So maybe you're like, oh, I feel bad about what I ate yesterday, so I'm gonna skip breakfast today, or I'm gonna have a salad for lunch today, even though I'm hungry, or a sandwich will satisfy me more. So these are little things that will fuel your binge eating without you even knowing. So what you can do to halt it is eat throughout the day, enough throughout the day, honoring your hunger and your fullness cues. Another one that I see that is very common is lack of self-care. So you go all day, you think about everyone else, you make lunch for the kids, you make lunch for your husband, but then for you, you're like last on your priority list. You go to work, you are exhausted mentally and physically and emotionally, you come home, right? And then food becomes this way for you to actually take care of yourself and relax and have that moment for yourself instead of actually meeting your true needs, which would be maybe setting some time during the day to like take a breather, or maybe saying, listen, I'm going to be out for 30 minutes. I'm going to go for a walk because I am exhausted, right? So what you want to do is actually start to prioritize yourself. It doesn't have to be these like huge ways. It can just be small ways for you to not go the whole entire day, and then when you get home just like plop on the couch and just need some food to be able to kind of wind down. The next one would be suppressing emotions, and this would go into the emotional eating realm as well. So binge eating and emotional eating kind of have the same function for you. It's just kind of the degree or the level to which the emotional eating gets, right? So if you suppress your emotions, if you don't know how to identify your emotions, if you don't know how to cope effectively and regulate your emotions effectively, and you turn to food or different things to cope for them, then you're gonna want to focus on identifying, acknowledging, and regulating your emotions in order to not need food to regulate, right? You can still use it, it can still be an option, but there's a difference between needing it and it being an option, right? When it's an option, you could be like, okay, I could use food, that could be nice, but I can also use all of these different tools that I have. Then we go to the restrictive mindset. So if you go to your meal and you say, okay, I'm going to eat, I don't know, this sandwich, right? This is what I was craving and it's what I'm going to have and it's going to be great. But you, in your mind, are guilting yourself for having it. You're saying this is too much bread. I added too much mayonnaise. I should have put only one cheese, right? If you have these things going on in your mind, you're going to be eating and you're not really going to be like registering that you're allowed to eat the sandwich and that you're enjoying the sandwich and that it's a satisfying sandwich, right? So if you approach a meal with the mentality of I shouldn't be having this, or this is the last time I'm going to have it, or tomorrow I'm going to go back to eating in a restrictive way, that's going to make you think, okay, this is the last time I'm going to have this, so might as well take advantage and overeat it. right? It's called the Last Supper effect. Let me take advantage right now. And then that's going to make you feel these impulses and urges to surpass your fullness level. So when you're in this restrictive mindset, even if you feel full, these thoughts are going to be like, no, 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 this is the last time we're going to have the sandwich. So let's finish it. It doesn't matter how full you are. And it's way easier for you to not stop when you actually feel full. So the difference between it would be restrictive mindset all the way to food peace mindset, which would be you noticing that this is happening and saying, I can have this sandwich right now. I can have it in 10 minutes. I can have another sandwich in 20 minutes if I want it. I can have it tomorrow, the next day, whenever I want, but also actually going through with that so that your body and your mind trust you to actually feed it enough satisfying meals so that it doesn't continue with this restrictive mindset, leading you to the Last Supper effect. Then we have perfectionism. A lot of my clients are perfectionists and they have no idea. So, what does this look like? When somebody approaches food in a perfectionistic way, they approach it in a very rigid way with rules, with the best intentions, right? I'm going to eat healthy and it's going to be this and this and this, and I cannot have anything else. And I'm going to work out 2 hours a day, every day from Monday to Friday. I'm going to wake up at 5 in the morning, right? You want to be this perfect person and have this perfect approach to food and your body. The thing is that this can sabotage your relationship with food and lead you to binge because you're not actually approaching it in an open way, in a learning way, in a curious way to say, okay, so this didn't work for me. Let me see if I can change my goals. Let me see if I can just start by eating enough throughout the day so that I don't binge at night. Let me see if I could just start taking a walk 3 times a week so that I get used to movement and enjoying movement little by little, right? So when you go from zero to perfect, without anything in between, it can be really hard to stick to it. And then you obviously don't stick to it because it's too much. You blame yourself. And then it's just like this self-sabotage cycle that you're in. So what you can do is approach it from a learning lens instead of this perfectionistic, rigid way. Then we have self-blame. From self-blame to curiosity, right? So when you continue to blame yourself, I always say you are blinding yourself to what you need to learn. So when you're blaming yourself, you're just focused on yourself. You're saying, I can't believe it. I'm such a failure. This always happens. Instead of just seeing yourself as neutral, allowing yourself to make mistakes, allowing yourself to fail. I mean, it's going to happen. You're learning a new skill, right? And actually be curious and learn. What did I do wrong? What can help next time, right? Oh, it's because I didn't eat breakfast. Or, oh, you know what? I was very stressed and I didn't regulate my emotions. What can I do next time, right? Those are two very different approaches, and one can keep you kind of like stuck in that like self blame and shameful spiral versus allowing yourself to learn and allowing yourself the time to actually learn a new skill. And then body image is my favorite topic in the world. So, when this is why I like to not focus on weight loss when working on your relationship with food. And I'm going to talk about this in depth in my last video of the series, so we can talk about it further there. But when you have pressure to lose weight and everything that is related to weight loss or weight gain to you personally, all of that comes up when you approach food, right? So if you're like, oh my gosh, let's say I'm very insecure and I feel like I'm never going to find a partner, right? All of these fears that are connected to your body image are gonna come up when you have a sandwich, when you have a cupcake, right? You start to feel like, oh my God, I'm such a failure. I always do this. I'm going to end up alone, right? So what you want to do is say, okay, I'm uncomfortable in my body right now, but look at how it's harming my relationship with food. So let me sit with this discomfort and prioritize right now working through my relationship with food while working on my body image so that both can be at peace at the same time. So going from body image pressure, like that pressure that you feel, to body image acceptance, body neutrality, right? Just tolerating it so that you can actually feel more in control around food. All right, so that is the difference between what fuels your binge eating and what helps you reduce it and stop it. So, all this to say that if you continue to blame your lack of willpower or lack of discipline, you're just going to continue to focus on that and feel like a failure instead of actually learning what the root of your struggles are when it comes to binge eating and actually fixing that to truly reduce your binge eating, your emotional eating, and your overeating. So if you focus on actually trying to solve the root of the issue, like eating enough throughout the day, right? Buying foods that you usually don't allow yourself to buy and including them throughout your day so you don't feel out of control when you do face them, right? Giving them that power. What if instead of blaming your lack of willpower, you actually learned what was fueling your binge eating and actually worked on it, right? The key isn't more control, it's understanding. And when you address the root of the behaviors, everything shifts. So I hope this helped you get more insight into what fuels your binge eating and what helps you reduce it. So like this if you found this helpful and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, which will be on food addiction.